This is
Hi.
a quiz. You are quizzing me. I'm going to have a moment where I'm like, I don't know, what dragon is that?
Hey Popverse, Veronica Valencia here, and I am joined today by best-selling author of Fourth Wing, Rebecca Yarros. How are you?
I'm well, how are you?
I'm doing well, and I mean, speaking of doing well, Fourth Wing, congratulations. It has blown up. It is incredibly successful. I just first want to get your kind of thoughts, your reactions to kind of how it has gone so far.
Thank you. It's been wild and really surreal. Kind of like, I keep saying it's like someone dropped someone else's life on my doorstep, and I keep waiting for them to come get it. So it's overwhelming, and I'm really glad it's doing very well. I'm really proud for my publisher that it's doing well. So that's.
I would like to talk about the early days of Fourth Wing. What would you say was kind of like the earliest idea you had of this book? Was it a scene? Was it a character?
It was Violet for the most part, and Taryn. I loved the idea of a smaller, more fragile heroine. Of course, she has Ehlers-Danlos, which is what I have, being chosen by this massive, very powerful dragon. And then there being a forced proximity and a romance, not between like a fated mate's bond of people, but they're dragons. And her being linked to this enemy that she can't stand, who's a rebel. So that's kind of where it came from.
And speaking of Violet, you know, you did write her with, and she is a character with chronic illness, as you just said, and it's something that you share. How was it writing that character for you?
It's kind of cathartic. I think it takes a lot of self-examination. My 4 sons have it as well. So I've kind of seen how it affects the 4 of them individually and myself. And I was able to kind of look at where Violet needs accommodations and where I won't take them myself, or where she won't take them, and kind of exploring someone who's stubborn and what they will and will not accept was helpful to me, because I could step back and say, no, I do have to change my signature because my hand can't do that, or I do have to give myself accommodations.
And I want to talk about Violet and Xaden, because we all love a morally great character.
I know, right?
And we all love that in our romance as well. I know I do. And so this is a 5-book series.
It is.
And, you know, so much has happened between these characters, and especially romantically. And I think that may have surprised some readers, especially all of this happening between them in book 1.
Right.
What were your thoughts on kind of really developing that romantic aspect in book 1?
So I'm a romance writer, right? So, and romance writers is a certain contract we have with our readers as to what they can expect for their endings. And I think you have to establish them as a couple and as a force in book 1 so that you can rip them apart the rest of the time and kind of force them to see who they are. When you're 20, you don't really know who you are or who the person you're with is. So there's a lot of room for development within themselves and within each other, but you have to start with that solid base, or you don't have much to root for books 2 and onward.
And as I mentioned, it is a 5-book series, but I correct me if I'm wrong, I believe in a live you may have been talking about how you were writing your 2nd book, Iron Flame, and you were kind of through it, and then you mentioned to your editor, oh, we might have to explore it potentially being 5 books.
Right.
So I'm very curious, when you set out on this journey, was it meant to maybe be a duology, or was it really just kind of you started writing and you were like, there's so much more I want to do?
So it was supposed to be a trilogy. And then as I was writing Iron Flame, I kind of looked at the time constraints because of what happens in book 1 and the evolution of the characters into book 2. And I called my editor and I said, okay, I want you to just think about this for a second. Because of the time constraints here, here, and here, I think this story ends at this time point, which would actually make the book 5, or the series 5 books instead of 3. But I want you to think about it. And she's like, nope, 5 books it is. And I was like, hold on, think about it. I know it's a big investment. I know that. She's like, nope, it's 5 books. And so we just went from there.
That must be an amazing feeling to just know that you can tell your story in the timeline that you really want to.
It's really great. I'm so thankful to have that kind of support, and it's awesome. And they're all plotted, so at least I know exactly where it goes and where it arcs and how it ends.
And at the end of Fourth Wing, we were treated to a little tease, rather, of a different POV from Xaden. And so is there anything you can tell us about maybe exploring other characters' POV in further books, and will it maybe be more than just possibly Violet and Xaden?
I haven't made up my mind yet.
Really?
No, I know how the story arcs, but I haven't made up my mind as to which angles to show it from. I can definitely say that there's no more of Xaden until he stops keeping secrets. Otherwise, all his secrets are out there in POV.
A part of me would love to like have a POV from the dragons, but they're too powerful, they're too knowledgeable.
Yeah, the dragons are never going to let you know what they're thinking.
Never.
They have their own society, and one thing I love about Fourth Wing, because I grew up reading fantasy, is that the dragons aren't the pets the humans are. So really, like, if there's a main character, it's more like the dragons are the main characters, and the humans are just kind of there. So yeah, they're never going to let you know what's going on back there.
And in fantasy, sometimes, you know, we come up with these really great names, and as a reader, you have your own idea of of how that is pronounced in your head. So, seeing as, you know, you are the author, you are the source.
I'm gonna get quizzed, aren't I? Okay.
I just want to know if we could set the record straight on, like, maybe this is how we pronounce them. The war college they attend.
So I say it's Basgiath.
Basgiath. Oh my gosh, I was totally off. I said Basgiath.
And that's a more Gaelic spelling, so or a more pronunciation. So that can be right. I say Basgiath because of just how I constructed the words.
The full name of Violet's black dragon.
Oh, Ternanach?
Yeah. Oh, great. The full name of Violet's gold dragon.
And Darnanwarnam.
I'm gonna be going back to this like now that I know how to pronounce all this. The name of Xaden's dragon.
Sigale.
Sorrengail. I was just going like scale. Like
Sorrengail. So
okay.
Sa and Gale.
The name of Mira's dragon.
Tyne. This is
Tyne.
a quiz. You are quizzing me. I'm going to have a moment where I'm like, I don't know. What dragon is that?
It's more just for me. I really just wanted to know. Okay. And then lastly, the name of the kingdom.
Oh, Navarre.
Navarre.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No
oh my
problem.
gosh. If people are going to be going to this and be like, I know now.
Yeah,
It's
that's
amazing. And then our last question. I know you're a fan of Taylor Swift.
I am.
And I know that you've mentioned when you write books, you have playlists. Some of it has been Taylor Swift, some of it has been Halsey.
A lot of it, yes.
And so my question to you is there a Taylor Swift song that you think represents Violet?
Gosh, so I always say, like, I wrote a lot of Fourth Wing to Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince because I think it has a lot of like underlying political themes in that song that kind of go with Navarre. So I think Taylor Swift songs are mostly, I would say, representative of both Xaden and Violet, and I would say Nightmare is more Violet by Halsey. Okay. So that's what I would give her.
Love it.
And I Know Places. I wrote a lot of Iron Flame to I Know Places.
I lied. I'm gonna have one more question.
Okay.
Is there obviously Iron Flame coming out very, very soon?
Yes.
A lot of excitement. Is there anything you can share?
There's dragons.
I love that.
Yeah, there's dragons.
Lots of
There's
dragons.
more dragons, yeah.
Violet.
There's Violet.
There's a Violet.
There's a Violet. Xaden's in there too.
Well, Rebecca, it's been my honor having you join me today.
Thank you for having me. Thanks, guys.
And thank you for joining us as well.